Today on Studio One, we're putting you on alert about scams this holiday season and throughout the year. We'll show you when too good to be true probably is. Sharon Rezac Andersen is making a difference in the Red River Valley with her own welcome mat for the world. And one of the new movies out this week is Father of the Bride, Part 2.
You're gonna have a baby.
Now from the University of North Dakota with Scott Seiler and Stephanie Mars, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One today. Nice to have you along with us. It is our last show of the season and we have a holiday theme to it.
Yep, the holidays are coming up quickly and that means crunch time for students who are finishing up the semester.
Yeah, it really is a busy time for a lot of people. Holiday parties, there's also concerts to go to, but it's still a fun time to experience, that's for sure. Well, if you have your holiday gift list out and are checking it twice, you better check out Angie Larson's tips on keeping true to your budget.
And keeping in the holiday spirit, we have a festive musical treat for you. These young students are coming up in our second half hour.
But first, today's national news from CNN and news from around the region with Lucy Sivka. Lucy?
Thanks, Scott. President Clinton has released another budget proposal for the third time this year. This one is designed to achieve what the Republicans have long been demanding, balance in 7 years. White House Chief of Staff Leon Panetta went to Capitol Hill to provide details to the Republicans. He said he thinks this is what the country wants. Republicans dismissed the plan. Mr. Clinton's welfare savings are higher, but still far less than Republicans propose. He'll hold the line on education, job training, and environmental programs, but make big cuts in other non-defense spending. Both sides will meet again to reach an agreement, but neither side believes it will be done before Christmas. So it is possible there will be another partial government shutdown during the Christmas holidays. More news from Capitol Hill. The battle lines are getting firmer over sending U.S. troops to Bosnia. More than half the members of the House signed a brief letter Thursday urging President Clinton not to send U.S. ground troops. While the debate goes on, NATO forces, including a handful of U.S. troops, are setting up camp in Bosnia to prepare for the full NATO deployment. President Clinton promised to seek congressional support before sending the deployment, but White House officials maintain that he can send the troops without their approval. And the current sentiment on Capitol Hill is an indication that Mr. Clinton may have to do just that. Final exams are creeping up on college students again. This time of year creates a perfect breeding ground for migraine headaches. 10% of the total population suffer from the acute headaches. They can be triggered by stress, change in sleep patterns, and certain foods like chocolate. Migraines run in the family and can start as early as childhood. The pain is caused by rapid widening and narrowing of blood vessel walls in the brain and head. The duration of the headache can last from a couple of hours to days. If you get a migraine, some suggest relaxing in a darkened room to ease the pain. Applying heat where the pain is most severe can also help. Women suffer from migraines 3 times more often than men. It is still unknown why some people get the headaches and the others do not. If you enjoy playing video games, you might want to check out the Sega Channel. The Sega Channel is a menu-based satellite service that runs in the FM band. The cable company receives the satellite signal through a dish and sends it out to homes through the cable wire. An adapter is purchased and hooked up to your Sega machine. The user is then able to choose from 50 game titles that change each month. The system also has a parental code that allows parents to block out certain levels of the games. With the cold weather, many people have given up on putting up Christmas lights. But with a little help from the Christmas brothers, you don't have to worry.
If you let the warm weather pass you by without hanging up your Christmas lights, don't worry, there still may be hope. 2 Grand Forks entrepreneurs are ready to take your orders for brightening up your neighborhood this holiday season.
You want to grab another string?
John Olderbach and Jesse Irvin started the Christmas Brothers outdoor lighting service for the first time this year. But why the Christmas Brothers?
His roommate. Yeah. We were trying to think of a name, and he just said, "How about Christmas Brothers?" And we went, "Yeah, that sounds kind of merry." Yeah. It's good for the holidays. Yeah.
The Christmas Brothers charge an average of 50 cents per foot of lights, depending on the height and the size of the project.
Anything they want decorated, we can decorate it.
This price even includes the detangling of your lights piled up in the garage from last year.
Most people like to keep them up under eaves and along there, so that's, you know, about 60, 70 feet, and then they like a few trees, bushes, so about 100 feet is average for a house.
But that's not all they do.
We also sell these lovely wreaths up here, handmade by my sister.
They'll even come back and take down the lights. That way, you won't have to leave them up until next year. Jesse and John are cashing in during the holiday season with their bright idea. This is Josh Andersen reporting for Studio One News.
And if you don't have your own lights, don't worry, the Christmas Brothers will sell you some of theirs. That's the news for this half hour. Scott and Stephanie.
Thanks, Lucy.
It's a good thing most people got their Christmas lights before it started to snow out. And to find more out about our weather, Patrick Griesgraber joins us from the Regional Weather Information Center. Patrick, how much snow can we expect?
Well, we're looking for a possible accumulation of between 4 to 6 inches here in eastern North Dakota and across north central Minnesota. And we already have 2 inches on the ground this morning from the snow that's already fallen. And we'll take a look at the current UNE Doppler radar in just a few minutes to see where that is. But first off, here are the current conditions here in Grand Forks this morning. Again, light snow. Our temperature is 5 degrees. The dew point is 1 degree. Relative humidity 83%. The winds are from the northwest at 16, gusting to 28 miles per hour. Pressure is 29.95. Wind chill between -27 and -40. Right now, here's the current situation. A blizzard warning is in effect across eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota. Winter storm warnings across the rest of the state in North Dakota and across eastern Minnesota. Temperatures across the region are continuing to be affected by a cold front that's making its way through. As you can see, 21 at Fargo, 3 at Aberdeen, -7 at Bismarck, -10 at Minot, and the wind chills are very cold across the western ends of the state. Williston is at -16 for temperature, and their wind chill is being affected by about a 40 mile per hour wind. Now, taking a look at the UNE Doppler radar at this time, this is from the AgWinds display, and you can see this is 5 o'clock this morning. You can see the system actually moving through right here. This is the heaviest line of reflectivity, and this is down by Mayville, and Grand Forks is right about in here. So we're going to continue to watch this system move through. Now, here's the wind display. We're seeing some very strong winds from the northwest across much of South Dakota, and we'll continue to see those winds increase across our parts. Currently, the lowest centered right into the eastern Dakotas. The cold front sitting in behind, windy and cold conditions along with cloudy skies. And those snow flurries will continue to move off to the east, some heavier snow across northern Minnesota, eastern Minnesota, and make some very, very hazardous travel conditions across Minnesota for today. Now, as we move ahead towards Saturday morning, the slow moves over the Great Lakes. We're looking for some clearing across most of North Dakota, but some windy conditions still persisting. Here are the highs for today. We're looking for single digits across much of northern North Dakota, teens across the southern half, and we're going to look at those very cold temperatures to filter in across the state over the nighttime hours tonight. Minus teens across the northern end of the state, and you can see minus 30s across much of the central portions of Saskatchewan. Here's the forecast for today. Again, there's a blizzard warning in effect for Grand Forks in specific. Mostly cloudy snow and blowing snow. The wind from the north at 20 to 35 miles per hour, high of 4 degrees. For tonight, look for cold, windy with snow and blowing snow. Winds from the north between 25 and 35 miles per hour, gusting to 40 miles per hour, a low down to -10. And you can see the wind chill, -60 to 70 below. For the Grand Forks specific extended outlook Saturday through Monday, look at that, -2 and -1 for highs Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at that Arctic high to be moving in, and that's going to be bringing us some very cold temperatures across our parts. And again, reduced visibilities and some blowing snow, so watch out for that. That's going to be the main problem for the day here in Grand Forks. Scott and Stephanie?
Thanks, Patrick. Well, I think I'm just going to lock myself in the house for the weekend.
Probably a good idea not to travel, but even wherever you go in the upper Midwest, make sure you carry your winter survival kit. Important thing. Well, let's go down to sports and Josh Morton. And Josh, there is a big trade in the NHL.
Yes, there was, Scott. But today's Sportscast also has a holiday theme. We're always cold here in the North Country around the holidays. I suppose that's just part of where we live. But when we talk about cold in sports, we're talking about how someone's playing, not about the temperature outside. But then again, some players colder than Patrick's forecast. One of those guys, Patrick Waugh, making his debut with his new team, the Colorado Avalanche, hosting the Oilers from Edmonton. Colorado up 1-0 when the Oilers' Kurt Maltby breezes one past Waugh on the first to tie it. And then the avalanche of goals. Brian Oliver with the breakaway and the game winner by Zdeno Seeger past Waugh. Oilers ruined Patrick's debut 5-3. Detroit Pistons at the Vancouver Grizzlies, and Detroit's Lindsey Hunter, he's staying pretty warm this holiday season. There's a 3 and another from the corner. And Lindsey says, well, I hit the last one, I might as well shoot another one. There it is, 11 first quarter points for Lindsey. But don't forget about Grant Hill. Rookie of the Year says, hey, I'm open, pass me the ball. The pass from Otis Thorpe takes it to the rack and one. Pistons win a road game 93-84. Denver at Utah, our final highlights of 1995, and we leave you with some heat. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was on fire. Somebody cool him off. He goes for 51, and the Nuggets upset at Utah 124-119. And that's a look at the national highlights. Now here's a look at the overnight scores. Well, the Fighting Sioux hockey team broke out of a slump in a big way last weekend. The Pucksters took it to Northern Michigan, pumping the Wildcats on Friday 11-4 and taking care of the season sweep Saturday 4-1. Here the Sioux practicing at Ingolstadt Arena. They did it with defense on Saturday, allowing only 13 shots on goal. Junior defenseman Dane Litke was honored with the WCHA Defensive Player of the Week for his efforts, but he also dabbled in the offense, scoring what proved to be the game winner on Saturday night. The Sioux travel to Minneapolis this week for a weekend with the Gophers. The third-place Minnesotans ended UND's season last year in the WCHA Final Five, and the two teams tied 3 times in last year's meetings. And that's it for sports for this half hour. Scott and Stephanie?
Thanks, Josh. 10 minutes now past the hour and still ahead on Studio One. We'll meet a woman who helps people learn about international traditions.
But first we'll talk with Angie Larson and the importance of establishing good credit habits. Studio One continues after this.
We want to hear what you have to say about Studio One. Contact us on the internet. Our email address is udstudio@badlands.nodac.edu. Let us know what you think about our show. Or better yet, give us your story and guest idea of who you'd like to see on Studio One.
Insurance. Unfortunately, it costs. Fortunately, it pays. Voller Insurance. Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, Bismarck.
You know, ever since I got Community National's imaging, I've had a great idea for a game show.
From your bank statements, who can find check number 1144?
Here it is. Jack's Hardware Store, September 15th, 1995 for $39.
Who is the only bank to offer this incredible imaging service?
My bank?
Wrong. Bill?
Community National Bank, of course.
Meet me at Columbia. Meet me at Columbia Mall.
There's always something happening where laughter overflows. People meeting people, an exciting place to go. Something's there for everyone, and you can see it all. You're free to choose a million things, so meet me at the mall.
Meet me at Columbia.
Great food can come from anyone, as long as the shredded natural cheese comes from Sargento of Wisconsin.
Handpick your insurance company? As your agent and broker, that's our exact job. We think we do it well, and have been since 1947. Voller Insurance, Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, Bismarck.
You're watching Studio One. News, weather, sports, and entertainment.
During this holiday season, we make lists of one sort or another, a list for gifts, groceries, or cards. But how many make a list detailing how much you're going to be spending? And do we stick to it? Angie Larson is from the North Dakota Extension Service Grand Forks Bureau and has some very important budgeting tips for us. Angie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
How do people set up a budget and why should they do it?
Well, budgeting is very important to do in order to avoid overextending ourselves and just creating financial difficulties that can be real hard to get out of later.
But how many people actually have budgets that they live by?
Well, most people try some sort of budgeting or another, so people do attempt.
You know, once you set up a budget, the toughest thing is first to set it up, but then how do you stick to it?
Well, it's easier to stick to it if you set it up realistically. So what you need to do is really just sit down and spend some time, put some real thought into what you can afford to spend. And what's recommended is right around 1% of your yearly take-home pay can be allotted for Christmas budgeting. So, and certainly never more than 5%. So once you keep that in mind, you can set up a more realistic type of budget that you can try to commit yourself to sticking to, and you'll just really have more success that way.
Mm-hmm. And what about comparison shopping with gift buying for the holiday season and everything, that's an important thing to do?
Yes, comparison shopping is really important because it can save people a lot of money. It's really surprising the difference that there is between just checking between one or two or a few different stores. You can find all kinds of different prices.
So you should check also the catalogs too, and comparison shopping of the catalogs and the stores.
Catalogs are a good way. You can make on-site visits to stores to check into things. You can even just simply call them on telephone and do price checks that way. I was just shopping for a computer program recently, and the first place I checked it was $64, and then I went to another place where it was on sale for $42. So just kind of putting some homework into it can really pay off.
Mm-hmm. Big savings, and also makes you feel better once you get a better deal than when you previously had it. Yeah. Sure. What about credit cards? Are they the death of all of us?
Well, ideally, if at all possible, it's best to avoid using credit to pay for holiday purchases, but that's not always feasible to do. So there's things like Christmas clubs you can use them at your bank or at your place of employment. So you can have cash on hand during the year to do that. If you do use credit, it's been found that they will overspend. They spend a lot more using credit than if they have the actual dollars with them when they go to purchase something. Mm-hmm. So it's easier to use credit because it's more available, it's more convenient, and we can kind of put it off. We can put it out of our mind for a while.
So and also just leave the credit cards at home if you can.
If you can.
Probably the best choice, yeah.
And if you have to take them, be sure to keep close track of what you are buying so that you're not real surprised at the end of the month when your statement comes and it's quite large.
Part of the budgeting thing, logging all the expenses and everything.
Definitely.
What do you do, with the holidays and everything, if you get caught up in the season of giving? What should you say to yourself and what should you do?
Well, that's real easy to do, especially how we're so bombarded with advertisements and they start earlier and earlier to get us shopping and consumers buying. But I think that it's right along the same idea with not going to the grocery store on an empty stomach, so you end up with a cart full of things that you might not necessarily need. What's good to do is make a list and stick to it. So bring an actual list to the store with you that you can check off as you go, and don't buy things that aren't on your list.
Mm-hmm. What if you need to stretch your budget? What do you do then?
Well, stretching your budget can be done in several different ways. You can shop sales, always be on the lookout for sales. You can shop off-season, so if you can kind of get yourself into the habit of thinking ahead of time, you can buy things in the off-season that you can get for really reduced prices. So maybe if you know that you want to buy somebody some sheets or bedding, a set of towels, there's white sales during the summer that you can use to purchase those at really a lot cheaper than during maybe the holiday years.
Mm-hmm. Some quick final tips.
Well, some final tips are all gifts don't have to be bought from the mall. People have special talents or certain skills if you're good with crafts or woodworking or baking, and those gifts kind of have a lot more meaning too because someone did actually take the time to make that for the receiver. Also, you can do things like coupons or gift certificates. So maybe you can babysit for a young couple or shovel the driveway or mow lawn for an elderly neighbor. Mm-hmm. So
some good ideas.
Thanks.
Definitely. Angie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's 18 minutes now after the hour, and just ahead on Studio One, Steve Martin becomes a father and a grandfather, and at the same time in Father of the Bride Part 2. But first, Sharon Rezac Andersen provides a home away from home for international students, and at the same time, she encourages these students from other nations to educate the community about their culture.
Make a memory, make a friend, make a fantasy come true in the end. Make a dream to be remembered more than anything could say.
Hi, I'm Nancy Schaefer. Please support the Make-A-Wish Foundation so we can continue to make dreams come true for these special children.
I was looking for a car for 3 months, and the folks at Honda Nissan knew I did TV commercials. And so they asked me for suggestions, and all I could tell them was how great I was treated at Honda Nissan. And the next thing you know, here I am. When I went to Honda Nissan, I was treated with such respect. And I really couldn't believe the quality and selection that I found there. People always tell me that you get what you pay for. But at Honda Nissan, you really do get what you pay for.
drown your campfires with water. Make sure it's totally wet. Then stir and drown again.
We know we can count on you to do what Sophie says.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota is steeped in tradition. From the first graduating class, students today learn from the Modern Law Library and computer labs. Students write for the North Dakota Law Review, take part in moot court, and review court proceedings with video technology. Law and medical students compete in the annual Malpractice Bowl.
The size of our student body gives great access to their teachers, and our computer network allows us to access worldwide legal resources.
Look up the UND School of Law for more opportunities.
We usually don't think of the Red River Valley as the melting pot of the world, but there's more than 54 nations represented at the University of North Dakota. Much of the vibrancy and success of the International Center can be traced to its director. She works hard to make the center a welcome mat to the world. Studio One's Eric Dethridge shows us why Sharon Rezac Andersen is someone we want you to meet.
The mission of the International Center is twofold for Sharon Rezac Andersen. On the one hand, it serves as a retreat for students of diverse nationalities, but just as important to Sharon, the center provides a variety of opportunities for everyone to learn about life in other countries. In her 6th year as director, Sharon's had a hand in creating traditions born from the diverse cultures that come through the doors of the International Center. Thursday nights are devoted to highlighting another country's way of life. Sharon says Czech Night was a resounding success. Another success story that'll whet your appetite is the annual Feast of Nations, a celebration of the attire, the music, and especially the food of the 54 countries represented at UND. While Sharon may be bashful in crediting her accomplishments, she goes out of her way to stress the International Center is a team effort.
So everyone who is at this center is a part, including the students. Very few decisions are made here, including even carpet color, without the input from the students.
Sharon grew up in an ethnically diverse family. Her father's side hailed from what was once known as Czechoslovakia, and her grandmother on her mother's side immigrated from Russia. Her understanding of the struggles her elders faced as immigrants to a new land paved the way to wanting to make that transition easier for other people new to America.
When we know the students are arriving and they all let us know that in advance, we meet them at the airport so that there's a community of people there early on. This building really, on a daily basis, is a home away from home for the international population.
The hardest part of Sharon's job comes when it's time for students to move on and she has to say goodbye. One of the most rewarding parts is staying in touch with them.
If I can ever do for the international students what they've done for me in my job, it's the best job I've ever had. It's my favorite job of all time.
Yes, it's a small world, but North Dakota can seem like a million miles away for many students far from their homeland. Sharon Rezac Andersen works hard every day to help bridge that gap. As one student put it, Sharon makes a difference by being a dedicated mother to 600 international students. Eric Dethridge, Studio One.
Sharon says it's also important for international students to have places of worship. Since it's hard for students to find mosques or synagogues in town, the center is creating a new addition that will house an interfaith center. Steve Martin is back in Father of the Bride Part 2. Just as he is recovered from being father of the bride, his life is turned upside down. He finds out that not only his daughter is pregnant, but also his wife. Once again, Martin has to deal with the flamboyant Frank, who coordinates a double baby shower for the family.
And all your pamphlets on becoming a mommy again, and the ultrasound photo, your baby's first picture.
Dat is first picture dan. Dat ben ik wel vaak.
I am.
Oh my God! That's so much! Mother of the bread and the bobby! Get out of town! Oh, muzzle up, Mrs. Bond.
And guess what?
What?
Annie's pregnant too.
Father of the Bride Part 2 is now showing in theaters around the nation. Now, time to take a look at the events happening in your area.
Everyone seems to look forward to receiving holiday presents each year, but can you remember a Christmas present that stands out as being the most memorable gift ever? Here are your thoughts on what that gift was.
I got a promise ring from my husband now, and he's put it into egg cartons, and every day or every little egg carton he had a specific reason why he loved me and why he wanted to give me the ring. So
I got a Clavinola, the piano from Santa.
It was a Major Matt Mason doll.
A rag doll? Yeah.
My favorite Christmas present every year is having all of my children and my grandchildren.
And if I think back to many, many years ago as a little boy, I got this wind-up train. You know, in the days before electric trains, I got this little train that you wind up, and that still stands out in my mind.
My Nintendo game. I got a Nintendo for Christmas. I got a house.
House? A big house?
For our whole family. Pretty big house.
Bill Gates is not only the co-founder of the giant computer software firm Microsoft, he's also an author. His new book, The Road Ahead, has hit the bestseller list, and he hopes it will be just as successful as Windows 95. The book details the future of computer entertainment, from surfing the net to creating your own movies. The new book even comes with a high-tech gimmick, a CD-ROM. Gates says he will donate all the proceeds from the book to fund an educational grant.
I've had a lot of my relatives and friends read it, and they think it's great to have a little bit of view of what the scenarios might be like.
27 minutes now after the hour, and coming up in our next half hour in Studio One, a group of students from the East Grand Forks Bible Baptist Church will perform some holiday favorites. You can even sing along with them at home. Plus, a look at mail fraud. You better think twice before answering big contest schemes. If they're too good to be true, they probably are. That story plus news, weather, and sports as Studio One continues.
UND's Division of Continuing Education can help you learn throughout your lifetime. Begin or continue your education through correspondence study and learning after hours with classes on weekends and evenings. Or enhance your personal and professional development through conferences, management seminars, and specialized programs.
Our goal is to provide quality programs and extend UND resources to you.
For more information, call 777-4266 or 1-800-342-8230.
No matter what you have a taste for, Sargento recipe blends have a way to make it taste better. 4 cheese Mexican and 6 cheese Italian from Sargento of Wisconsin.
Oh, gee, I mean, you can ask the students.
The education that you get is as good as or better than what you can get at anywhere else.
The teachers really go out of their way to help you outside of class.
It's just an incredibly rich opportunity and environment here.
Newman Outdoor Advertising, a sight for more eyes. Outdoor advertising, it's bigger than life. It gives you flexibility. Use it as a constant reminder. Use it to advertise your message or product. Outdoor advertising, it's big, it's bold. Get your message across. Outdoor advertising, it works. For more information, call Bill Kasager in Fargo or Grand Forks.
Now from the University of North Dakota, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Studio One.
We're sure getting a lot of snow out there, and it's supposed to be getting colder and colder.
Very frigid outside. And Patrick's going to join us just in a couple minutes to give us all the details on the weather. Also coming up on Studio One in the next 30 minutes, we'll show you how the V-chip could keep violence and other objectionable material from the eyes of your children.
Plus an in-depth look at your junk mail. If you've been getting a lot of it in the past, it could be due to credit card companies giving out your name.
Also, the sounds of Christmas will soon be filling our studio from a group of talented young musicians. But first, national news today from CNN and regional news with Lucy Sivka. Lucy?
Thanks, Scott. The Senate has taken the first step to stop a specific abortion procedure since the 1973 Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade. The bill includes an amendment that permits a late-term abortion only if the mother would die. The vote was 54 to 44. The legislation now goes back to the House, which approved it without the exception of saving a mother's life. Some senators based their debate on women who had the procedure.
You can feel the heartbeat. Of course you can feel the heartbeat. You can feel the movement of the child. It's wiggling. That's not a child. What is it? My God, what is it? Let's be serious. Of course it's a child.
President Clinton vows to veto the bill when it reaches his desk. Federal officials say they're making more than 400 arrests in a telemarketing fraud investigation. Attorney General Janet Reno announced results of a 2-year, 14-state probe by the FBI and state law enforcement agents at a press conference in Las Vegas. The scams usually involved fake phone charities, investment schemes, or prize-winning schemes. Undercover tape recordings show high-pressure tactics were often used to trick the elderly. Reno says fraudulent telephone pitches cost Americans $40 billion a year. With little effort, you could save a life. Blood donations are an important part of our lives. During the holidays, many people are busy and may forget to give blood. With increased highway traffic accidents, giving blood during the holiday season is more important than ever. People give blood for different reasons.
I think the biggest benefit that people have said that they receive from giving blood is just the really good, warm feeling they get inside from knowing they've helped provide a life-giving gift to someone who's in need.
There are 8 different types of blood. The most common type of blood is O positive. The rarest type is AB negative. Parents may gain more control of what their children watch on TV. The V-chip may soon become a common item in television sets. The chip helps parents screen programs with violence, sexual conduct, or other objectionable material. The chip would scramble or block the picture on the TV screen. Final legislative action for the chip is still in the works. The bill then needs to be signed into law by the president. Although technology for the chip is available, it will not become mandatory until it becomes law. This could take place anytime after the new year. The entertainment industry will not be required to implement ratings with the V-chip, although proponents are hoping a system will emerge. North Dakota has a health insurance program for kids. The Caring Program for Children provides free health and dental care to uninsured children.
Thousands of kids visit the doctor's office every day. Whether it be a cold or a routine checkup, kids need regular doctor's visits to stay healthy. The Caring Program for Children is designed to help kids who are unable to meet their health care needs.
The main goal is to try in North Dakota is to treat and take care of, through primary and preventive health care, those 6,000 children that are out there in our state that really do not have any other form of health care.
The health care provided through the Caring Program is paid for entirely by contributions. The program will sponsor as many children as it has funds for. A contribution of $253 will cover a child's health and dental care for 1 year. The Caring Program for Children is putting together caring councils in Grand Forks. The councils will focus on promoting the program, raising funds, and identifying children who qualify for assistance.
I think this is a really great program in that it's neighbors helping neighbors, and almost any kind of talent that people have that they would like to contribute towards the program will be utilized.
Almost 12,000 kids in Grand Forks have received free health care through the Caring Program for Children. With 6,000 people in Grand Forks uninsured, it's likely many more children would qualify. Reporting for Studio One News, Julie Benson.
26 states, including North Dakota, participate in the Caring Program for Children. North Dakota has provided the program for almost 7 years. Sending Christmas cards or gifts could be difficult this time of the year. To avoid the mailing shuffle, post office officials suggest mailing out letters and packages as soon as possible. The Grand Forks Post Office's theme this season is helping you handle the holidays. In handling the holidays, the Postal Service has a few tips and guidelines.
One of the primary things that we want to remind people to do is address completely and very clearly. Nothing is more frustrating than getting something back because we couldn't understand it or it wasn't deliverable.
Hauge also suggests putting address labels inside packages as well as outside. Packages should be wrapped securely with tape and not strings. The post office will only accept packages that weigh up to 40 pounds and 100 inches in length. The Postal Service will also be working on Sundays starting December 10th. And that's the news for this half hour. Scott and Stephanie.
Thanks, Lucy.
I sure feel sorry for those letter carriers who have to be outside.
Yeah, it's a cold one.
It is. And for more information on our weather, Patrick joins us from the Regional Weather Information Center. Patrick, how cold is it really going to get out there?
Well, it's going to get fairly cold tonight and extending into the weekend with our high temperatures only making it into the negative single digits. We'll look at those details in just a few minutes, but first off, let's take a look at the current conditions here in Grand Forks this morning. As you can see, snow and blowing snow being reported out at Mark Andrews. Temperature 1 degree, the dew point -3, relative humidity 83%, and you can see the winds have increased in the past hour. Northwest 22 gusting to 35, pressure 29.96 inches. That's gone up about 1/100th, and that's rising. Here is the forecast for today. Look for a blizzard warning, mostly cloudy skies, snow and blowing snow. The winds will be from the north between 20 and 35 miles per hour, expecting a high of only 4 degrees. Wind chill will be hovering between -35 and 50 below. For tonight, cold, windy with snow and blowing snow. The winds from the north between 25 and 35. You could see gusts as high as 40 miles an hour, a low of -10, and you can see the wind chill between -60 and -70. In the outlook, Saturday through Monday, as you can see, single digits below zero Saturday and Sunday for highs, as you can see, -20 for an overnight low on Saturday. And again, here is the current picture. We're looking at a blizzard warning for eastern North Dakota and for western Minnesota. Winter storm warnings for most of North Dakota and for eastern Minnesota. So again, driving conditions will get rather hazardous across the region today. Back to you, Scott and Stephanie.
Thanks, Patrick. I think I'll just stay in the apartment all weekend.
I think a lot of people should get a hot chocolate and watch a video or something like that. keep them busy, stay outside. Let's go now into sports with Josh Morton, and we'll look at pro sports.
That's right, Scott. Well, if you're looking for that perfect gift for the sports fan in your life, here at Studio One, we do have some ideas for you last-minute shoppers. There's plenty of professional sports merchandise out there, but just be careful which teams you buy. Are the NBA refs really coming back? Can the Jets really be moving to Arizona? Lots of questions flying around pro sports lately, but we want to know, where did all the ugly jerseys come from?
You know, you look at these jerseys and you wonder where they got the idea and why they came with that idea to change.
Well, thank you. I was starting to wonder if other people like teams like the Sonics, the Rockets, and Islanders' new look, but obviously others have taken notice. But why switch logos? Money, plain and simple. A change in their look means more sales at your local sports merchandise store. So then what makes a good selling team?
Their logo, the colors, and the way, I think their image in the papers and whatnot, their image, and definitely how well they're doing.
So winning does have something to do with it, but some teams will sell no matter what.
Packers could be 0-16 and people will still come in looking for Packers. They'll see it on the sidelines, and that's what they want.
Well, there's a lot that goes into a successfully marketed team. Unfortunately, someone forgot to tell the Cleveland Browns. Their colors, brown and orange. The team doesn't have a logo, and they're called the Browns. Plus, they're moving to Baltimore, something that doesn't make sports fans all that happy.
Last year, I think I sold one Browns jacket, and I asked the guy why, and he kind of got mad at that. It's really sad to see how teams will just up and leave a tradition, rivalries, whatnot, just for more money.
So next time you choose a favorite team, make sure they're sticking around for a while, and make sure their colors are at least acceptable. Hey, that Browns jacket didn't look too bad, did it? The guys at Team Spirit say the hottest teams this year are the Cowboys and Blackhawks, and the hottest player jersey, well, it's some guy named Jordan who plays basketball in Chicago. Here's another look at the scores from last night. And Ohio State running back Eddie George was named the winner of the Doak Walker Award this week as the top running back in college football. George is also a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, awarded Saturday. Scott and Stephanie, my vote goes for the Buckeyes.
Thanks, Josh. 40 minutes now after the hour. Stay with us in just a few minutes, some holiday music.
Plus a look at the amount of scandalous offers and sweepstakes sent through the mail every day, and what you can do to protect yourself. That story's next on Studio One.
Insurance. Unfortunately, it costs. Fortunately, it pays.
Voller Insurance, Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, Bismarck.
The University Bookstore at UND is open to everyone and invites you to make it your lifelong learning resource center. At the largest university bookstore in the Dakotas, you can choose from a wide selection of educational materials, imprinted clothing, and gift items. The trade department carries general interest books, reference materials, and educational software. Special orders and direct mailing services are available at the University Bookstore by calling 1-800-671-0948.
Meet me at Columbia. Meet me at Columbia Mall.
There's always something happening where laughter overflows. People meeting people, an exciting place to go. Something's there for everyone, and you can see it all. You're free to choose a million things, so meet me at the mall.
Meet me at Columbia.
No matter what you have a taste for, Sargento recipe blends have a way to make it taste better. 4 cheese Mexican and 6 cheese Italian. From Sargento of Wisconsin.
And pick your insurance company? As your agent and broker, that's our exact job. We think we do it well, and have been since 1947. Voller Insurance, Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, Bismarck.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
It seems we pride ourselves on getting something cheaper than the original price, but sometimes that bargain costs you more in the long run. Mail fraud rips off thousands of people a year, and usually there is no way of getting your money back. Studio One's Lucy Sivka shows us what happens to you when it sounds too good to be true.
It's common for you to go to your mailbox and find a certificate claiming you are a $1 million finalist. Eric Hansen found such a promise. Hansen applied for a credit card in the summer, and since then he receives large amounts of contest announcements.
After I got these credit cards, I started getting these phone calls, I started getting these postcards and things in the mail that would say, you've won a free trip, or you've got something free coming to you. All you got to do is call this toll-free number.
Hansen took it seriously. He called the company to find out about the prizes which he had supposedly had won.
Me being a little naive, only getting a credit card this last summer here, I gave my numbers over the phone on the credit card, and the whole thing cost $600 basically, supposedly for taxes and shipping and handling. The watch that I got kind of looks like one of those things you get in a quarter machine. The band is like kind of glazed over. It's really kind of cheapo band, and then you got one of those ticker watches, and then on the top of the watch inside this real minute diamond. Supposedly, it could be glass for all we know, you know.
We took the watch to a local jeweler to have it appraised.
The diamond that's in there is if it is a diamond, it's even hard to tell that if it's a diamond. But even if it were a diamond, that wouldn't be worth more than $20.
The 3-piece leather luggage was actually not bad. It smells like real leather, but there's no telling what's going to happen there.
Eric says he has learned a big lesson from this.
And when she was on the phone, she's like, oh my gosh, you won one of the major prizes. Usually most people call up and they get a set of steak knives. And I was going, oh wow, you know, I must be special. And that's really the bad thing about this whole scam business, is that you do get sucked in so easy.
If you have been taken advantage of in one of these scams, you may be out of luck. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service regulates the mail and oversees any complaints that consumers may have due to receiving offers in the mail. David Ostrom, a postal inspector in St. Paul, Minnesota, told us over the phone that the reality of these scams is that if it is too good to be true, it probably is. Ostrom also added that the main premise these businesses work on is getting money from you as quickly as possible. He points to definite signs that indicate a person should stay away. First, if you have to pay any processing or tax fee for receiving a prize, it definitely is not a prize. Second, if they ask you to join a membership club or buy items to receive the prize, stay away. If you feel you have been victimized, contact your local law enforcement agency or the postal inspector's office. If you do receive an offer, just remember the old saying, if it is too good to be true, it probably is.
And Lucy joins us now for some more follow-up information. Lucy, are there any ways you can tell that it is a scam?
Yes, there are two most common scams, and the first one is the free prize scam. They usually say that you won this great big prize, and what it usually ends up being is something similar to the watch Eric got, which is usually not worth much. And the second one is the free vacation, and they advertise this huge vacation that you get all for free, but it usually ends up being that you have to pay for the entire thing.
So what's Eric's status now with the contest?
Okay, he just told me that he got another postcard in the mail on Tuesday. So what you have to watch is that once these companies get you once, they think you're more vulnerable, so they keep sending them to you because they think they'll get you again.
Be on guard. Thanks, Lucy. Up next on Studio One, some young and talented musicians and singers will share their holiday spirit with you.
If there's something you want to know about Studio One, write us, call us, or fax us. Our address is Box 7307, Grand Forks, North Dakota, 58202. If you want to call us, dial 701-777-4346 or fax your message to us at 701-777-4342.
Gee, Vince, what kind of dummy wouldn't know how to use a child safety seat?
Beats me, lads. Child's play.
You just buckle him in.
Unless he's over 20 pounds.
Then this one's good.
Except if he's over 40 pounds.
Then you're into this kind of rig.
What if he outgrows that?
Put him in a booster seat?
What if he's too big for a booster seat?
Would he use the safety belt?
The Auto Safety Hotline can tell you everything you need to know about keeping your child safe in a car.
I'm a wreck.
Totaled.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Call 1-800-424-9393.
I was looking for a car for 3 months, and the folks at Honda Nissan knew I did TV commercials. And so they asked me for suggestions, and all I could tell them was how great I was treated at Honda Nissan. And the next thing you know, here I am. When I went to Honda Nissan, I was treated with such respect. And I really couldn't believe the quality and selection that I found there. People always tell me that you get what you pay for. But at Honda Nissan, you really do get what you pay for.
When you put together quality faculty with quality programs, with superb students and all kinds of neat opportunities, you're going to get literally a world-class education. And that's what we can provide at the University of North Dakota.
Coming here, you do meet a lot of people from different cultures, and it's really broadened my horizons a lot, kept me more open-minded.
I really like the professors here. They're always available. You can go in and talk to them whenever you need them.
It really has everything to offer. You don't need to go far away to get a really good education anymore.
talent with us. Today we're listening to students from the Bible Baptist Church and School in East Grand Forks. Scott Kuzel is the musical director at the school and church and joins us today. Thank you for joining us, Scott. What song did the quintet just perform?
That was the medley of carols, and it was arranged by our pianist, Mrs. Sheila Nelson, who's with us today.
It was wonderful. What are some of the places that the band and choir performs at?
We most of all perform and minister in our local church. The children or the young people like to do what they do for the Lord, but we've also been to Red River High School and local high schools in town in East Grand Forks. We've been to junior high schools. We'll be performing at the United Hospital's Christmas party this year, and one thing that we're looking forward to is in the spring, we're going to be making a trip to Mexico with the Baptistine Couriers, and we're going to be passing out Bibles to the people there. And so right after Christmas, we're going to be learning songs in Spanish, and we're looking forward to that. Probably the most unseemly place you'd find us would be singing at McDonald's, but we've done that before too. So,
I understand you have one recording of the group's performances. Is there a second one in the works?
Yes, we did our first recording in 1991, and we just are about to finish our second recording. It'll be entitled Songs of Praise 2 by the King's Choralaires. So we're looking forward to having that out within the next month or so.
Well, that sounds wonderful. What song will the quartet be singing today?
They're going to sing a song entitled Love's Pure Light.
Now the Bible Baptist Quartet joins us to sing Love's Pure Light. We want to thank the Bible Baptist Quartet and Instrumental Ensemble for joining us today. 55 minutes now after the hour. Studio One continues after this.
From the University of North Dakota, you're watching Studio One.
UND's Division of Continuing Education can help you learn throughout your lifetime. Begin or continue your education through correspondence study and learning after hours with classes on weekends and evenings. Or enhance your personal and professional development through conferences, management seminars, and specialized programs.
Our goal is to provide quality programs and extend UND resources to you.
For more information, call 777-4266 or 1-800-342-8230.
afternoon, officer. My license and registration. Cheeseburger? It's hot out today, huh, officer? Maybe my tail lights out.
Shouldn't you be carpooling?
I guess you're right.
I guess I am.
Carpooling can save up to 600,000 gallons of gas a year. This message sponsored by Ad Council and Earthshare.
Newman Outdoor Advertising, a sight for more eyes. Outdoor advertising, it's bigger than life. It gives you flexibility. Use it as a constant reminder. Use it to advertise your message or product. Outdoor advertising, it's big, it's bold. Get your message across. Outdoor advertising, it works. For more information, call Bill Kasager in Fargo or Grand Forks.
They're calling it Small is Beautiful. A new book in stores by Norm Crampton called The 100 Best Small Towns in America says many people who left the small towns are coming back and more people from the big cities are being drawn to small town life. The book defines a small town as those with populations between 5,000 and 15,000 people. Number 1 on the list is Essex, Connecticut. Pierre, South Dakota is number 10. Marshall, Minnesota is ranked 44th. 49th is Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Devil's Lake is 59th, and Wapaton, North Dakota is 69th.
And before we say goodbye today, we have 2 of our students who are graduating who have been on the project for a long time. Lucy Sivka, you've been on the project for 2.5 years, and our student director Bob Dunlop has been on the project for 2.5 years. And Lucy, you've been on here for 3 years. We're very proud of their work. We just want to say congratulations and wish you the best in the real world.
Thanks.
Are you nervous?
Oh, yes.
Well, certainly you'll do fine. And we just want to thank everyone for watching us. This is our last show for the semester. We'll be back again in February with a whole new edition of Studio One. So thanks again for joining us. We're going to leave you with pictures from the Christmas Holiday Craft Fair. Thanks again. We'll see you in February.